Hello. Hey, soul family. It's me. So I'm back from Costa Rica and mostly feeling so inspired inside. During my time there, I met so many eco-revolutionary people, social impact innovators, people at Envision and beyond Envision that are changing the game, coming up with new ways to approach all these systems that have been rigged and think about ways that we can move into spaces where we're living in harmony with nature. All these things I'm so stoked about. It's also 7:10 or so, and it's voting day, and I haven't voted. I just want to put that forthright. I'm like going through this moment right now where I could be part of that statistic of the people that didn't vote. And I'm also feeling frustration. Like, if you detect that in my energy and my voice, I want to voice that I am frustrated. Because right now it feels like I'm coming back to the United States after this like really bright few weeks out of town and realizing like it was weird coming back to Seattle. It's a ghost town because of this whole coronavirus scare. Like, nobody's out. Nobody's meeting with each other. Nobody's talking. We're missing that whole community energy right now. And it's happening right while one of the most important days occurs. It's voting day. And I don't know if any of you have read like Naomi Klein's shock doctrine, which talks about how the powers that be will often use something in the media through agenda setting, to point us all in one direction while something important happens in the background. I feel triggered right now because I feel like that's happening. And with full respect to this virus that is a real thing, the flu also kills 500 people a day, and you don't hear the news talking about it. There's so many things going on, but right now we're on this lockdown, with everybody in such fear, when this is like a really important time for us to gel in community. And so I hope that if we can at least do that through the interwebs. I hope that, hi, if you're here right now, hey Jason, hey Jasmine, like if you're hearing this, I hope you did vote. I haven't voted yet. I'm like on the fence, and I think part of what's sorting out inside me, I wish it was simple. I wish it was easy to use our phones to digitally vote. That's a perspective I hold. Something called liquid democracy, as it's known, because I feel like voter participation is so low right now, and we have these phones that know everything about us. Like, they authenticate everything about us. They have a front-facing camera with face recognition, voice recognition. How come I can't opt in to use that to cast a vote on a number of things, and not every 4 years, but all the time, in real time? Or give the proxy of my vote to my good friend or someone in my family that I trust for a set of issues for a certain region. This is a perspective I've held for a long time. Anyway, I feel this feeling right now of how important it is for us to not complain, and I see that I'm doing it right now. I want to take ownership for that I'm feeling like triggered and feeling like there's just such a mass of problems in this country. Coming from Costa Rica, where I was over the last few weeks, where they have no standing military. They devote $0 to that. All their money is going into ecological restoration. All their money is going into education and that type of thing. Like, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing here? It's not okay. It's not okay that we're working so hard with, and all that energy is getting extracted by corporations. We know this, but we're in such a state of shock that so many people feel like, I don't know what I can do about it. And the only thing we're given to do about it is vote, even though we know most of these politicians are controlled by corporations, by things like Citizens United. Like, they're controlled. They're not beholden to us. There's no system in place to even tell us on a day-to-day basis, like, hey, this politician you voted for or that you're watching has not represented you, did not do the thing they promised they would do. Like, what the heck? Like, when anyone out there that's working right now, you get a performance review every year, right? Like, if you work any major company. How come our politicians don't have performance reviews? How come we don't have systems in place that were paid for by the billions of dollars that we have to point toward innovation, toward watchdogging in a positive and encouraging way, but also a keeping accountability way, since we know that corruption is such a problem? How do we not have this in place? So my hope is that there are solutions that come out in the next few years. My hope is that there's even a fraction of our military budget given to innovation, to solutionaries, people that are out here to create solution to these problems. Let's have festivals where we tackle these problems, and there's real money from tax dollars to fund so people that are ready with their whole passion to come up with solutions. Where is that? Like, politicians, like, where is that? Point this boat in the right direction. And I'm going to go and vote because I know that it's important. It's the thing that I can do, and it's the thing that you can do. Like, I am going to go vote, but I am still upset, and I know I'm not the only one that's upset. I know I'm not the only one that feels disempowered that I only get to vote once every 4 years for these, and we're funneled into this, like, these, whoever the Democratic committee decides to approve as, like, the final choice, which is a whole politics in itself. And then, so, like, last time we were, like, given, like, the lesser of two, what felt like not adequate choices. And that is upsetting at a deep level, that it's a gamified system, that it's a game, that instead of something that's truly fair. So my hope is that, look, it's not going to change today. I have 40 minutes to get in my car to a polling station and actually cast this ballot. Even though I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? We live in the digital age. I should be able to go on my phone and say, yeah, I'm cool with being authenticated. You can identify my face. You can identify my passport, whatever. I'm going to cast my vote. And I'd like a system which informs me on how these politicians I vote for follow through. And I'd like to be able to dive into any one of these issues I'm voting on in real time, right there, with a system that has a multi-million-dollar user experience designed. Like, of all the resources we have, how we don't have this drives me crazy. Kara, you have, what does it say? You have it already, trying to manifest living in Costa Rica. Yeah. Yo, Kara, like, I hear you. Like, I want to, like, I'm driven because of this shock that we're in sometimes, and many of us were like, what the F? Do we just expatriate this place? Do we redesign? Do we go through the work to save America? Like, do we do that? Because maybe we should be trying to save America, like, but it requires so much resistance to a system that is so, like it's just off the rails in terms of corruption in so many ways. And so it's disheartening, and it feels like we're in a state of shock. Back to Naomi Klein, shock doctrine. We're constantly our attention is jerked around, and it feels like we can't really do it. How many times have you heard an American say at the bus stop, at work, whatever, like, yeah, it's pretty fucked up, but what can we do? What can you do about it? That's just the way it is. Like, we're in such a state of shock that we can't even process the very hurt emotion deep down that this is, like, not okay. This is wrong. Like, this is really wrong. Like, I feel my emotion today. And maybe that's because I've been unplugged from this system in a place where people live in connection to the land, pura vida, as they say in Costa Rica. I'm coming back to Seattle, to America, and being like, whoa, what is going on here? Like, we have so many innovative people here. We have so many just brilliant big hearts here. Okay, I'm gonna take a breath. I need to take a breath. Okay. We have so many innovative people here with true hearts, and they aren't always the ones in power. And I think all of us want those people to be the ones that have really demonstrated. Sorry, my mom keeps calling, and it's interrupting the, 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 We have so many true hearts here, and I just hope that I can imagine a system where we aren't disempowered. At the last second, something changes. Like, this is 2020. This is a time when a whole new approach to democracy, to all this could emerge. Like, think about it. The founding fathers and the founding mothers, probably, that we don't hear about, really innovated a system considering in a deep discussion. They had their own think tank, their own gathering. They created their own, nowadays we have music festivals, we have TED Talks, we have these things, and we go and we generally listen to somebody talk for a few hours about a good idea. I hope that we do one more now. I hope that we get into working groups in these types of places and we innovate a solution and we build the solution. Like, can we do that? Can we do that this year? Can we not just heal at music festivals this summer? Can we have tents devoted to social causes and ecological causes? Can we actually dive into these issues and with all of the talents that we've been cultivating in the system, use those, leverage those, and solve things? Just take on that one thing that you're really passionate about and meet all the others that are passionate about it, and have it, a really dance, connect, all these things, because we got to keep it real. We got to stay hard. I'm realizing how important community is, how important a social fabric really is. And, there's so much of it that we can do over these digital platforms, and then there's a whole lot else that we really need to solve in real communicative spaces. And we need to get on computers, we need to build the websites, we need to do the research. Kara, simplicity, tribal living and love. I feel you, Kara. I do. I know for me, I want to live tribally. I want to live in connection. And maybe it's time to just innovate a better system in some other place than trying to fight the good fight in this system forever. But there's this notion that there is a value to cities. There is these are still places we need to protect. These are still places we need to really make room for solutions to, because not everyone has the privilege to bounce out to Costa Rica and live in an eco-village, at least not yet. Not yet. We may need to find ways to make it scalable enough so that it can happen everywhere. That takes solutionary thinking. That takes a lot of it. And so I know we're capable of it. And so I hope that this happens. I just want to plant the seed that this summer, whenever you go to the next gathering, maybe it's just with your family, maybe it's with your tribe, your soul family, or maybe you're at a music festival and maybe you plan a music festival, maybe you plan these things. Can we start to incorporate spaces where solutionary conversation and execution can happen? Please, I can't go to another Envision festival like I just did without that being there. It's for beings that feel really called to this path, it's killing me that we get into these spaces and we get another hit of feeling tribalism without the follow through. We hear an inspiring speech and wait a second, why are we just now going to a dance party? Why don't we maybe follow through over this thing over the next 5 days? God, it's a time that calls for that. We talk and feel about how much we feel for Pachamama, Mother Earth, for the marginalized people of this world, how much we feel, we cry about it, we feel it. Look, this is the community of people I've been in. I don't want to speak for everyone, right? But I can just only speak to my own experience. I just, I want to read what you're saying, Kara. Plant medicines help evolve people and gather productive ways. This is true. I think plant medicines have a real deep part in this, but that it's one piece of the picture, and not everybody feels safe with plant medicine. And I think that there's I think for, you meeting people where they're at, some of this has to be waking up the heart and waking up the spirit is the first step, I think, for everybody to be able to process what they've been feeling and then shift into a productive way about addressing some of these major issues. But it's also creating frameworks of gatherings, frameworks of funding to empower the people that are really ready to go and do this work. You know what I mean? Like Kara, you might be, if you feel this calling, or anyone out there, if you feel a calling, I wish you had the resources you needed to follow that, like to really be empowered, and maybe like the way that we see startups like in Silicon Valley go into incubators or accelerators. We need a mass acceleration of anyone that's feeling the call to help humanity, anyone that's feeling the call to help ecology, nature, these sweet and dear souls, and yes, plants, and just deep, sincere connection to your world. I personally, the spiritual path has meditation and just standing with a tree, standing with a person, seeing their soul, looking them in the eye, has meant the human heart medicine has been the deepest medicine for me. You know, and I think there's many approaches to this, but at the end of the day, how do we evolve this? Like, we were brought to this planet to make this change. We were brought into our lives. Maybe you worked, like, who knows what your background was, but it cultivated you to be able to do this really specific thing inside the matrix, as we call it, inside the default world. And now, how do you take that, all that you learned? It seemed like a bunch of like wasted time sometimes, but we had to get in deep. I feel like in the spiritual layer of reality that's going on, we had to get in deep in this matrix that has all its corrupt twists and turns, so that we could learn who we truly were by rising up within it, being triggered a million times. Like the darkness of this time is perfect, because it's going to allow us to feel and experience what it is to be leaderful on the inside, to be humble, and to stick with the process of inner growth, so that we and that we can heal the outside as well as the inside. Sometimes there's this concept I hear people talk about, and myself talk about actually, called NonDuality, where like, oh, if you change your inner thinking, the whole outside world will change. And actually, I'm experiencing there's a ton of truth to that. And it's beautiful. It's amazing. It's like this law of attraction. And as you change your inner space, that resonance just gathers the people that are perfectly designed to meet you there, that are in that heart resonance. Like, all day long, I'm meeting angels now. It's amazing. It's like we meet each other and we can see it in each other's eyes. And maybe that has to do with just like random happenstance, but I think not. I feel not. It has to do with the inner space changing. That said, why doesn't the whole world and all its problems go away because I feel really good? Well, maybe your soul and spirit, whatever you believe in, designed this exact experience with all of this external, what feels like BS sometimes, so that you would have to face it. And by facing it externally, which is hard and insecure and difficult to like lean into, because you got to have a lot of motivation to do it, right? To deal with the physical world. It's not just about meditating here and feeling perfect and the whole world cascading into perfection, although that's half of it, the yin, the yang, or whatever, right? But there's also, you, by meeting the external world and making solutions and being heart connected as well as mind connected to that solutionary process, that's where you find out who you are as a creator. That's my feeling about it. Please don't let me oppress my perspective onto you, just if it resonates with you. I want to say that. So yes, right now I'm triggered. I'm triggered in America. I'm triggered in Seattle. I'm triggered by this whole seriously flawed voting process and this whole flawed representation process. It's not right. But I get all the agency in the world to go do something about it. I'm going to vote today. I got 30 minutes to do it, so I better like hop in the freaking vehicle and go. But I just like had so much in me that I had to And nobody's getting together because of this freaking coronavirus scare, which I'm like, is this real? Is this any different than the flu, really? Like, and maybe it is, but it seems like it's hyped up at a time when we know our media does use the shock doctrine to pull people's attention away from something really important just when they're about to, like, get the empowered space. So maybe it's a little bit of both. I don't know. Anyhow, I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to go vote with all the people with the little masks on, and I don't think I'm going to wear one because I believe I'm fine. But I just want to say, like, if you're feeling really triggered by this time and it's almost like exhausting to feel all of it, you're not alone. And if it feels like, you know, on top of work and everything else, it's a lot to go vote right now, you're not alone. And go do it. We've got half an hour to do this. If you're in the state of Washington, let's just go do it. And I encourage that, even though I acknowledge all of the flaws of that system, and we're going to make that system better. Let's go vote, and then let's make a better system. Let's, like, seriously do it. And if we can't, you know, meanwhile, Kara and others, yeah, maybe we just move all this innovation to places like Costa Rica, or just, like, have a full-on Cascadia takeover and just, like, revolutionize this whole place massively. Like, maybe we think a little bit out of the box with this. I'm not opposed to that. It might come to that. Like, it might, and just like a revolution of innovation. This is a world with a free market of ideas. So if you find a better way to live that isn't full of obstruction and dishonesty and corruption and oppression, we live at the most mobile time in history. So guess what? The whole world's going to come flock to that Mecca. So whatever country's willing to support that, you're also going to get all the innovators, all of the free thinkers, all of the people that are the highest performers, the highest resonance. And because of globalization and decentralization, and the fact that we can, like, most people, not everybody, will increasingly be working remotely. We have artificial intelligence coming online. We have all these things that are going to enable us to be in the middle of nowhere, drop a grid there, and live in beauty and not participate in this really bloated heavyweight system. That's the feeling I have. Thank you for being here with me. And I know this is a little bit of a vent, and I really want to make space for the fact that, like, this is just a perspective. This is just kind of like a heart and brain dump. And I think there might be a lot in there that I oversimplified. There may be a lot that I sort of, like, didn't shed light on, I'm sure. I know. So I encourage you to just respect the feelings and thoughts inside of you. And as I go through this myself, like, how do we point this energy at solutions thinking? Solutions, not just feeling stressed. Solutions on the inside, in the heart, and on the outside, where we have awareness and can think of really brilliant ways to change things. Yeah. Okay. I love you. I love you. I love this new space of, like, spiritually feeling beings on the other side of this. Like, we're evolving the ability to feel each other and through space beyond time. And so yeah, really want to wield this mechanism with a lot of respect and integrity. So bless you for your perspective, for your heart, for your focus. I just want to send my energy in this moment to you. I want to, which is not my energy, it is just source energy, and it's flowing through you, and it's flowing through me, and it's flowing through all of us. So blessings to your process, brother or sister. I'm so with you, love you. Okay, bye for now.